Hey folks, Countywide has moved. Our award-winning community talk program has moved to Sunday mornings at 6 a.m. We'll continue to bring you interesting and informative community newsmakers, just as we've done for nearly 20 years, but now as your Sunday wake-up at 6. Brought to you by Edward Jones Matthias Sandoval, Rice Accounting Jackson Hewitt, Farm Bureau Randall Insurance, and Verde Solar. Join me, Brad Miller, for Countywide, 6 a.m. Sundays on this Yavapai Broadcasting Station.
It's time now for Countywide with Brad Miller. Listen in as Brad and his guests cover a wide range of topics, issues, and events. Now here is today's Countywide.
Well, a good day to you, and welcome to the program. It is Countywide. I'm Brad Miller, and we're so happy to again welcome into studio a number of the many volunteers and folks that are part of the Yavapai County search and rescue effort. I've learned through this series that we've been doing for, coming up on a year now, how big it is, how entailed it is, how well trained these folks are, and most of all, how dedicated they are. And today, we're going to be talking about search and rescue efforts from the air. We have visited upon that a few times as we've talked about drones, we've talked about mounted, we've talked about Jeep and the foot people too. But today, Dana Hoch and Mike Rodriguez are here, and they're going to talk about what happens from the air when we have a search and rescue, or we have looking for smoke from summertime monsoonal fires and those kinds of things. So guys, thanks for coming in, and we appreciate all that you do as part of the search and rescue effort for Yavapai County. So diverse with our geography and all of those kinds of things. It makes it tough to find people, say, and you're certainly got to be, I'm sure, a big part of that. So thank you. One of the things first, now, Dana, what you're kind of in charge. Tell me your title, if you want.
Yeah, I'm Dana Hoch. I'm the commander of the Yavapai County Sheriff's Air Group.
Okay, and Michael, you're an instructor.
I'm a CFI. I originally, when I started with the air group, I was the safety flight officer.
Okay.
Right now, I'm just at large.
Yeah. Okay.
I fill in as a mission observer in the right seat.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, when we talk, let's just, for our examples here today, let's just kind of talk about a search and rescue for a youngster, because that really kind of amps things up when we've got a little one out there.
When we have a small child out there, they call everybody out. It doesn't matter who you are, everybody comes, and they come as quickly as possible.
Now, one of the things we got in an earlier conversation on this series is there's somebody going to coordinate the whole shebang. And one of the earliest determinations there'll be is kind of the size of the area, the search area. And it seems to me when that's a bigger area, you guys are going to be part of that real quick.
Yeah, they utilize us when they want us to get there quickly, especially when it's on the outskirts of the county.
You bet.
Because we can get there within 45 minutes, probably anywhere in the county. Right. Whereas the ground troops may take a couple hours to get cross country there. So we can go in and quickly and assess the situation and give them an overall view of what's going on.
Okay. And now you're fixed wing?
Yes, fixed wing.
So we're not helicopter.
No. We did have helicopters at one time, but helicopter is a little different story. It's a little more expensive.
Sure.
And not a lot of people are private pilots with their own helicopters.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad let's point that out, because that's, I think, a huge part of this. This is, you guys are volunteers, and so is your airplane.
Right.
So is the fuel, so is the maintenance, and that's...
Yeah, we do get compensated for oil and fuel, or if we blow a tire or something like that, just like the Jeeps do. If they blow a tire during a mission, they can get compensated.
Okay, but by and large, it's your own time and your own volition to go out and do that. And that's the biggest part, and that's why this is a successful program. But kind of back to our scenario, so being fixed wing, you're going to be just visual?
Yeah, it depends on where they are and what kind of terrain it is, but the deputies will decide where they want to search. They set up the grids, or we might do a line search or something like that. I mean, Mike can kind of explain that we have several different search patterns depending on what's going on.
Mike, you said you're typically in the right seat on a search like that for our listeners.
Yeah,
help us understand.
So the mission observer actually runs the mission. The pilot is responsible for the safety of the aircraft and everybody on board.
Okay.
So generally, the MO, mission observer, is talking with deputies on the ground, and they're doing all the coordination with the G posse and all the rest of the other search and rescue things.
Good.
It's in a heavily wooded area with a lot of tall pine trees. It's very hard to find somebody on the ground.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, it is. To
Think
give you an
about it.
example, I'm still in another organization, and I've been in search and rescue for about 40 years. So we were looking for a downed aircraft up in. This is not what the air group, but this is an example of how difficult it is.
Sure.
We were looking for a downed plane that went off near Flagstaff up in that area. We sent 10 sorties out, couldn't find it.
Wow.
A year later, a Forest Service
A
guy,
year later.
Forest Service guy, in the wintertime, was driving by and he saw a glint in the distance, and so he walked over and there was the airplane.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's extremely difficult with the high pines and stuff. So
Right.
you may need to run a lot of sorties to find let's say it's a small child. That's even worse, because they generally will hide somewhere.
Right.
Okay, so
That makes it tough.
yeah, and when I was the flight safety officer, a new pilot, I would take them out and we would fly different approach patterns. And some approach patterns are good for midday, some are not good for midday. So you have to know that, because
Right.
in some canyons, if it's late in the afternoon, you have the shade that will shade below. You can't see anything down there. It's difficult. It's not easy.
When this happened, when we're talking with kids, as our scenario was, like you say, they're going to hide. They're going to be very, very scared,
Yes.
probably. And as ground searchers, and here again, this is from talking with some of the other guys.
Right.
As ground searchers get close, sometimes they'll very specifically hide. You're relying, just as we said, on visual. We see like FLIRs and things like that at night. I would assume your planes aren't.
No, we don't have any of
specialized
that
gear.
fancy equipment.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's purely visual.
Yeah.
And normally our search altitude is 1,000 feet.
Okay.
Depends on the terrain, because the terrain's going up and down. We're in a mountainous area, so we constantly have to change altitudes. If we see something, we'll get down to 500 feet or so to take a good look.
Right.
And we may circle around 2 or 3 times just to make sure what we're seeing.
Right. Do you have any way of communicating with a person on the ground?
Not unless they're in communication through telephone or something like that. Okay. We wouldn't be talking to them directly. We'll talk to the ground troops through a SAR radio.
Right.
And if we can't get a hold of anybody, we can usually text the deputy on site.
Right.
That works in a lot of cases when there's no radio communication.
Hopefully the person will see the airplane and take that as maybe a signal that
Well, and if we do see the person, we're going to wag our wings so they know that we saw them.
Yeah.
And basically we'll direct the deputies in, and we'll stay oversight, hovering, circling until we feel that the deputies are headed in the right direction and can find the person on the ground.
Okay. Weather. Something every pilot knows. You're all professional weathermen, whether you train that way or not. But
yes,
that's going to be probably the second biggest factor in.
It is. For example, we had a search for a suicidal person, and that's a case where they can't send in ground troops because they'll be on danger. If this guy's or person is suicidal, may be armed, and they may try to shoot somebody that's coming in on the ground.
Wow.
So they send us in first. And we're in mountainous terrain. We had a search on top of Mingus, and they wanted us to go up in the morning. Well, the shadows are long in the morning. There's a lot of trees on top of Mingus. And I said, and we have this thing called the mountain wave. So if there's a wind, prevailing wind, when you get to the edge of the mountain, you'll get an uplift on the windward side and a downlift on the lee side.
Okay.
And I was up there. I said, this may be sketchy, but I'll try it. So I got up on top and everything was fine until I got to the edge. And you, on one side, you'd get a downdraft and it pushes your airplane down.
Sure.
It really does. And on the other side, it pushes it up.
That's what those hang gliders like.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it does, weather does play a big part. If it starts raining, if it's not like today where there's a lot of really big fluffy clouds that are very dangerous for
Right.
us. If it's just, sprinkling or something like that, we go through and wash our aircraft. No big deal.
Get a little bit of that job done.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, this is great. We do need to take a short break. When we come back, we'll talk more. Our guest today, Mike Rodriguez, Dana Hoch, and a big part of the air attack, if you will, with the Yavapai County search and rescue effort. We'll pause for a moment and be back to Countywide right after this.
If you're near retirement or thinking about retiring, you probably have a lot of questions. How do you make your savings last? How much should you take out and when? You're ready for retirement, but are your finances? I'm Edward Jones financial advisor, Matthias Sandoval. Let's work together to help ensure your finances can keep up with your unique needs over the long haul. You've done what it takes to get there. Now it's time to make the most of retirement. Give us a call at 928-634-1044.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Thank you so very much for your generosity and kindness in helping others. I hope that you take advantage of the many Arizona state tax credits available when giving to qualified charities and schools. If you haven't taken advantage, I hope you'll ask your favorite charity if they qualify. You can go to Arizona Department of Revenue website, search for tax credits, and look at the list of qualifying charities. Then look at your latest Arizona income tax return and see how an Arizona tax credit can benefit many. This is Lewis saying thanks again.
And we come back to the program. It's Countywide. I'm Brad Miller, Dana Hoch, Michael Rodriguez with us today, and the air. They put the air in the air attack on the search and rescue efforts of Yavapai County. And just kind of chatting with the guys here during our break, I want to share a tiny piece of that. It sounds like all of us have been kind of in this area for a long time, and a lot of people were born here and grow up here and enjoy why a lot of us are here, and that's the great outdoors. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of odd to think that within this radius of Yavapai County, these few hundred square miles, there are such dangers. Yeah. If you get lost or if the unexpected happens, and that happens to the best experienced kind of hikers. When you get called out, the urgency is going to go along with who and what. When you hear about an experienced hiker, does that change anything? Does the deputy call for more or less help based on those kinds of things?
I would not say it changes anything. It's the urgency, whether they're experienced or not experienced. Right. It's still a person out there that's in danger. Yeah. So, I mean, we take every call seriously and to get up in the area in a timely and safe manner. Right. And try to see if we can locate the person themselves, but it doesn't matter whether they're experienced or not. We don't know that. We just go up and they'll tell us some information if they have it from the family, but we just consider it's life-threatening, and that's it. Okay. Yeah, because there's so many things you're not going to know. Is the person injured? Yeah. Is the person? It goes on and on. So it makes every case its own kind of thing. Yeah. Typically, again, just a missing person. 3, 4, 5 planes. I see you, like in a movie, you're all scrambling and running out to your plane from the same location, and I know it's not like that. No, do you send 1, 2, 3 aircraft?
It depends on what they like and what the conditions are. If we go up on the first sortie and the conditions aren't right, it's useless for us to go up again. Okay. If the deputies want us to search a different area and we're running a town, we're limited by fuel, obviously, sure, and the need to go to a bathroom. So, so
it's a reality.
Yes, exactly. So we'll go up typically 1.5, 2 hours maybe, and then we'll come back. Okay. And
will you kind of tag team with another pilot then?
If the deputy requires it.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but we'll do a sortie like that, and then we're not always searching for people. A lot of times it's a silver alert. We get several silver alerts where an older person will leave home with they have dementia or something like that. They leave their phone, they take off, and invariably they go out into the desert and end up in a wash somewhere, and we're looking for a car, which is a lot easier to look.
You bet.
We can spot a car quite a ways away. Person's a different story.
Right. So, right.
And typically, a lot of Bloody Basin is a big place where we go, because we can get there faster than the deputies can or anybody else can. Right. And we'll go out there, and it's kind of wide open, so we can see a vehicle a long ways up there. So.
How cleanly can you identify a vehicle? I mean, if you see one that looks abandoned or in trouble, that's where the report.
Yeah, it depends on what color it is, too.
Well, sure, the obvious, right?
I'm driving a yellow Jeep. The reason I'm driving a yellow Jeep is if I get lost, I want them to find me.
Yeah, well, there you go. Good argument.
And I can see my Jeep from 15 miles away.
Good argument. Argument for that. Are there anywhere you get the call? I would think weather would be one of these factors that affect this, where you, for safety reasons, say, or some other thing.
Yeah.
You mentioned where I'm thinking more is you kind of mentioned smoke spotting with wildfire.
Yeah.
That becomes a different animal too, doesn't it?
You can speak to that.
Well, as far as weather and smoke, I mean, I had to call off one mission because of the winds were too high.
Sure.
And we weren't going to fly over because this is a mountainous area.
That's your call.
Yeah, that's a pilot, and that's a pilot safety call.
You bet.
With the smoke, I remember one morning I went up with one of the pilots in his aircraft. We saw smoke towards Sedona. The minute we got up to altitude out of Prescott, so we went over there. We said, okay, this looks like it's a fire that's starting. So we got to the ridge line. And of course, we're Yavapai County. They're a different county. So, so I said, that's okay. I mean, and then we started looking down and we saw firefighters. They were doing a quick burn.
Okay.
But the smoke was coming up. We thought that was that was a problem.
Right.
So you have that going on as well.
You can check it out.
As far as the smoke and the weather, like the other day, if you notice, you couldn't see the mountains around here.
Oh, what a thing!
That's where it gets a little dicey because you can't see where you're going if you're flying.
And that's dust.
Yeah.
Okay.
Visual flights, called VFR flying, visual flight rules by
Okay.
the FAA, Part 91.
Right.
And so you don't want to get into that particular type of situation because we only fly in the visual flight rules. We don't fly in the instrument flight rules. Like when you're in a commercial airliner,
Right.
they're all IFR.
Sure.
Okay, so
Sure.
we don't do that because of the safety reasons.
I'm just curious, did that smoke, was that thick enough, would that cause like carburetor or in-flight problems mechanically?
No.
It wasn't that bad.
We don't have volcanoes around here, so we don't have that.
Yeah, we're not flying.
No trips to Iceland.
No, and we're not flying turbine engines where it would
Okay.
it would cause a problem. There was a problem. I think it was in Alaska. I forget what it was, a 747
Yes.
many years ago. Ingested a lot of the small little microparticles that like little beads of glass.
Yeah.
And they're starting to have some engine problems.
Yeah. Okay.
So you talk about weather. It's also a time of day thing because we have got called out like 4 o'clock in the afternoon to go over towards Payson or something like that. And we get over there and we're limited because it's starting to get dark. And obviously we can't see anything in the dark. We can do a night mission, but it's usually we're going out there looking for fires or something like that. But we're up high, so we're above everything.
Yeah.
But I have had to call off a search because it was getting the sun was so low, and I had to come back right into the sun, and I was below the edges of the hill. So it's like, okay, this is getting too dangerous. I gotta get out of here.
Okay. I tried to save maybe my silliest question for toward the end of the show, so if you guys laugh, I won't get totally left out. Has anybody ever, one time somebody told me that a way that a pilot might see you if you are on the ground and you are the subject of a search, but the way you can identify, even if it's just a private pilot with nothing to do with the search, is if you've got a mirror.
Oh yeah.
Hold it like, see, okay, it's not so silly maybe.
Yeah.
And your thumb, have you ever been alerted, or do you know of anybody that has been alerted that way?
I've only in practice.
Okay. But it's
we've
a legitimate.
We've practiced that. Yeah, we've had an exercise.
Kidding.
Yeah, we've practiced that where they actually will shine and it's a mirror with a little like a crosshairs in it, so you can actually aim it at the.
And it's very effective.
It's very
okay. As a matter of fact, if the Thunderbirds even though they can see where the airport is when they're doing it, they use a mirror to signal so those guys can come in, because when they turn around, they're out 10 miles or so. And they reflect a mirror at them because that's more powerful than any light or any other signal device.
So makes sense.
So here's a safety tip: if you're out in your car and you've got one of those sun blockers in your car and it's silver on one side, you can use that. If you get stuck out in the middle of nowhere, for an aircraft will see you moving that around.
I got one in my truck. I'll
There
keep
you
it
go.
handy.
You've got that handy.
I'll keep it handy.
Or you
Okay,
can-
so that
You can break your mirror off.
does. Oh, yeah. If it's coming down to if I'm gonna miss a meal, that's what I'm gonna do. All right. We need to take a short break. We'll come back and wrap it up. Dana Hoch and Mike Rodriguez, our guests. It's Countywide. We're back right after this.
While the temperatures rise, make sure your peace of mind does too. Jonna Randall Murdoch, your local Farm Bureau agent, is ready to help you simplify and protect what matters most: your home, your car, your life, and your future. Jonna offers competitive pricing with a relationship-first approach that puts you at the center of every decision. Call Jonna Randall Murdoch today at 928-649-8686. Located on Villa Drive in Cottonwood. Farm Bureau Financial Services. It's your future. Let's protect it.
Get peace of mind with a summer tune-up from Verde Air, a family-owned business providing premier air conditioning, heating, and plumbing services to the greater Verde Valley for more than 40 years. Make sure your system runs efficiently, quietly, and reliably, no matter how hot it gets. Don't wait for a breakdown. Schedule your summer maintenance today. Call 928-567-5315. That's VerdeSolaire.com, your factory-authorized carrier dealer. Verde Air, keeping you cool year after year. All right, as we come back with Dana Hoch and Mike Rodriguez, Air Search and Rescue with Yavapai County. I would think we've had an awful lot of private pilots around. Do they ever kind of assist? Somebody maybe signals them, or they see smoke, say, and then they get a hold of you guys?
I mean, all the pilots, if you're out just flying around casually, you see a fire or you see somebody in distress, they'll report it, usually to ATC, which will notify the county, and then they'll start a search or something.
Okay.
Like
somebody on the ground might call 911.
Right.
Yeah, we also have a guard frequency that we listen to.
Okay.
It's a 121.5.
Okay.
And anytime you start up your plane, you should put one of your radios on that frequency, because if somebody is down on the ground and let's say they've crashed their aircraft and they still got radio communications, they can bring that up, and that'll start actually a whole search nationwide with the Air Force.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, it will.
So that's where to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, I really appreciate it. Again, I know that the work you do is, again, on a volunteer basis. How many folks are part of the Air?
We've got about
division?
15.
Okay, quite a few then.
Yeah, and probably half of those are pilots.
Okay.
At any one time, we have 2 or 3 aircraft that we can send up.
Gotcha. Okay.
And we're always looking for volunteers that you don't have to be a pilot. We need pilots with their own airplane.
Sure.
And we need observers also. So we're always looking for them.
Is there a phone or online, or how
you can go to YCSAG.org.
Okay, YCSAG.org, just like that.
Yeah.
All right. Again, thank you so much, fellas. Dana Hoch, Mike Rodriguez. I'm Brad Miller. It's Countywide, and we'll see you next time.